Yeah, welcome back to another Josh K guitar video. Josh here at your service as always. Please do click the like and the subscribe buttons so that you can get the latest content, and especially on this series because I'm essentially giving you a $1,000 book here. So subscribe. It's a great value, okay? I'm doing 2 pages a week from this book right here. Big, thick one. And we're going to get right into that. Before I start, I'd like to just thank all the new subscribers for tuning in. It's great to see you here. And when we do hit 1,000 subscribers, that's when I'm dropping some new music. I just got some finished album artwork. It's pretty stellar. I'm pretty excited for what it is. So, like, tell your friends, you know, bring your guitar player friends here. This is the place to be. So, that's it. Let's get right to it. Here's the book. All right. I'm going to flip to the page in question, but I'm going to preface this the way that I start all these videos, which is just like Mick told me and like he put on the cover, there are no batteries included with this, okay? And there is some assembly required. That means no tabs. You have to figure this out for yourself, and the more different fingerings you can figure this out with. There's, you know, any time you play one pitch, you can play that pitch at least 6 different ways on a guitar, most of them at least. So, that said, find different ways of playing these voicings. That's part of the whole thing. So, assemble those parts yourself, okay? So, that said, here's the page. I'm going to go ahead and flip to it. That all said, one other thing I'll say before telling you what to screenshot and everything is one important thing that Mick says in the beginning is that if you feel any discomfort while you're practicing these, put the guitar down, take a break, or at the very least, simplify the exercise so that maybe you're just playing one note at a time instead of all 3, or do something so that your hand feels comfortable while you're playing these. It's one thing to stretch, but it's another thing to really feel, again, discomfort. So always be aware of any of those sensations because nobody should be hurting themselves over music. It's only music after all. So that said, here's the page in question. If you tuned in to Tuesday's episode, you'll notice that it's the same cycle 6, but now we're in melodic minor. I'm going to go ahead and blow this up. All right, so here are the close voicings. Obviously, these are closed, meaning you might reinterpret that as close. All of the notes are as close together as possible. So screenshot that so that you can work along And then also here are the spreads. Screenshot this part as well, because both parts are really, really important. And real quick, here's that MSRP portion. That's the cool melody that happens as you play through the cycle. So this whole line, all of the notes account for all 3 lines of music. And you'll notice C goes through the first 3 chords here. So that C melodically works over C minor, of course, easy, right? But then also over A diminished and over F. And really over anything here, but they're actually part of the chord here. They become dissonances over some of these other guys. So that's it. There they are, the MSRP. That's that cool, interesting melody that happens when you play. All right, well, let's get to it. And I'm going to work through these. Let's do... I'm going to go through slightly the same technique that we did with Tuesdays. So I'm going to actually work down so that you can see a different way of practicing these today. But then I'm going to really quickly blaze through them all again. But just to show, you don't have to just use the first 2 chords. I'm going to do another 2 chords that I just happen to like in melodic minor. So that's going to be A diminished and F major. And I'm going to lean probably more heavily on the F major because I love Lydian dominant. It's just a fun sound, and that happens to be the F mode that occurs in C melodic minor. Right? So that being F and that being A diminished. Yeah? Or this. Or this. Right? Or all of that works. And that's why it's actually really important that I don't use tabs, because you do have to put all of that information together. Where are notes? Where do these things live? That's part of the magic of the book. And that is part of what unlocks the fretboard on a deep level for guitar players. So put in the work, take the time. It does take a lot of time, so just, explore. Maybe just a couple of minutes a day. And I can promise this. If you try to cram it all at once, it won't work. And if you put in like 5 minutes of this kind of thing every single day for like a year, you'll just notice that really cool things start happening when you just go to play music with your friends. And that is really the key to this book. That's why it's important. That's why it's really cool to understand. So, that said, let's get right to it. And this way of practicing it is perfect for people who are A, trying to just discover the sounds of a certain chord change, or B, you're not able to make it all the way through all of the chords in the chord cycle yet. You're just working on it, and you're just learning your triads. This is a really great one because it just pares it down to 2 chords to work on, and you can just go straight through it and discover all of the sounds that are available within those 2 chords. So, that said, A diminished, F. I'm going to start right at the top. We have C, E flat, A. That's the first inversion that Mick wants us to explore. So that's C on the bottom, E flat, A. Now from here, our E flat is going to move up to F. Now what's important to note is that's the middle note. So we want to find all of those situations on every string. Alright, so that's here. It's also going to be here, C, E flat, A, and then here's F, right? It also is going to happen an octave higher, right? This one's great because it's kind of like a D chord, and then this one's kind of like a D7 chord. Which I guess they all are if you use the right bass note. But I'm really imagining A as the roots. And then F. that's that one, right? And then we have another one. And that's all just below the 12th fret for my acoustic guitar players. You can explore these higher ones if you'd like to. And it's worth doing. So there's all of the versions that we have, right, of this first sound, right? And again, I don't do tabs, but I do like to show how my brain is working. That's why I use this tool below, this MIDI fretboard that keeps track of what I'm playing. So notice I didn't play every inversion of every chord, because the specific voicing is really very important. The sound that we want is the moving note being the middle voice, and only the middle voice. If you move that to the top or the bottom, you get a different effect, as we'll see as we explore more of these sounds. So let's do just that. Let's move down to the next line, and here you'll see Mick tells us right away the moving note is in the bottom. You can see by the arrow. E flat to F, right? So we have E flat, A, C, and E flat moves to F. Right? So I'm going to play them kind of hard. But what I notice is there's a strong, kind of almost a bass move. So if I play them a little lighter. Right? So that's a very nice kind of sound to have. You can also learn these other places, right? Again, all the octaves have kind of like a different sound to them and everything, so it's just good to know all of these, yeah? Not doing those yet. All right, so let's move on to the next line here. Next line, we have A, C, E flat. So A is in the bass. Then we have C, E flat. And again, A flat, E flat moves to F. So now we have more of a melodic situation because it's the top note. Right? Well, this is 3 different sounds that are all available just using closed triads that are only these 2 chords in C melodic minor. So over this you can play like... no problem, right? C melodic minor all day long. You can throw some other notes in there. Obviously, you can play what you like over these chords, but obviously Mick wanted us to explore the melodic minor sound, so I like to try and throw that in here as much as we can. All right, let's move down to these spread voicings. Again, these are great. We as guitar players, and a lot of musicians actually, not only guitar players are culprits, but I do find that other music players are less likely, less prone to staying inside of this box. Sorry, guitar people. But we have this habit of playing things in order. Like, if we're doing triads, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, right? And then backwards, right? Forwards and backwards. Always forwards and backwards. But something that we don't do a lot of is, like, skipping. Unless you study melodies that skip, you don't really get good at doing that. Or unless you really practice sequences that skip, you don't get good at doing that. So this is a really, really great way of practicing really good sounding sequential skips that get you to start to break out of those kind of like scale patterns that we fall into. Not that those are a bad thing, but it's always good, I think, it's good to mix, right? It's the sound that you get from using a scale pattern. There's a sound that you get from breaking that up and spreading that out. So That said, that's why I think spread voicings are so important. So let's get right into these. And then, like I said, I'm going to blaze through every chord change in there and just show one way of playing right through it on the fretboard, so that we don't take too long in the video. But that said, again, let's get right to it. We have C, A, E flat. Again, all we're doing is taking that middle note, raising it up in an octave, so that way, again, spreads out all the notes. So we have C, A, E flat. It gives us our A diminished, and then E flat moves up to F. And if you have trouble doing that, you can always do this. And we can always explore those other inversions too. A lot of the time, if I'm using these, I use these as soloing. And I'll really spread things out. And again, I'm playing other stuff, but this leads me to a really great sound. Forming a great sound leads to a bridge to an idea. And then when you have a great idea, you can turn that into a motif. Once you have a motif, you can work that motif into a development. So that's why these, again, are so great. They also outline a harmony. And when you can tell a story in harmony, then you find that you get just, again, really great music. So there's your first one. You can do this here. You can do it. You can do it here. All right, all are available. And it's all the same sound, just maybe a different octave, right? So next one, E flat, C, A, and now our bottom note moves again, right? So E flat, C, A, bottom note. There as well, C and A, or right? Right? So many sounds you can get from that. And then bottom one, A, E flat, C. A, E flat, C. And E flat in the middle. I really love this one. It's fun. But anyways, those are all those sounds that are available right within the cycle 6, just moving right down. And again, I'm just going to move right through all of these so that we can keep the video nice and short today. But let's get right to it. Starting low on the neck, so I can move all the way up without having to change. So this time, I'm just going to actually see if I can move continuously up. I'm going to explain which chord I'm playing as I'm playing it. But again, screenshot this stuff. Use the long way. Practice what I just did, right? On every single chord change. C to A diminished, right? D to B diminished, G to E flat augmented. Use every single one of those colors and practice them, get familiar with them. And when you do that, you're going to learn melodic minor, you're going to learn triads, you're going to learn diatonic chords, you're going to learn, yes, correct, you're going to learn your modes, and you're going to learn just everything that happens when you mix these notes that exist within C melodic minor. So that's it. Let's get right to it. Starting with C minor, going to A diminished, top note movement. From there, we're moving to F. So this is the one we already did, but middle note movement. Now we have bottom note movement. So C is going to move up to D, and then we're going to get D minor. Then our top note movement again. You'll notice this moves like top, middle, bottom. Because two notes always stay the same in cycle threes. So here, middle note moves, right? E flat to, F to G. Now we're going to get bottom note movement. We're getting E flat augmented, and you'll notice we're all the way at the end of the very first line. Then we get top note movement again, first note of the second line. C minor. Middle note gives us A diminish. Bottom note gives us F. Top note, right, 2 frets, gives us a D minor. Middle note moves 2 frets, A to B. It gives us B diminished. And then E flat to F on the bottom. Then on the top, D to E flat. Then B to C. Then bottom note, G to A. Then top, E flat to F. Middle, D, C to D. And we get D minor. We're all the way here. A, D, F. Third line already. You'll notice I'm always saying the same notes. It's always the same notes that move, and they always move by the same number of frets. So like A to B will always be 2 frets away from each other, right? So every time you see that, it's always the same. It just is a different string, different part of the voicing that it's happening in, right? So I have A, D, F here, and I'm gonna move my bottom voice, my A, up to B. And now I have B diminished. Now, same thing, F up to G. And I have G major. And now my middle one, but it's again D to E, flat. Now we get our E flat augmented. And now again, B up to C, but now it's our bottom. So that's the whole closed voicings part. Only one version of doing it. I could do the same thing here. I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm not going to waste time doing that here. That's, again, part of the magic of this book. Put that together. If you do have questions on that, if you want to see a specific chord set, drop it in the comments and I'll do a specific video on that so it's nice and short and you don't have to sit through 20 to 30 minutes of this, or, oh goodness, hopefully not longer. All right, so let's get into the spreads, okay? Again, I'm going to start nice and low so we can work up nice and slow. So we're starting here. G is moving up to A, so we have C, G, E flat, spread out voicing, right? G is moving up 2 frets to A. flat moves up 2 frets to F, or we can move that there. Or we can play that here. Over the next move. That's D minor, right? So we were just on F. And the bass note moves up 2 frets. Really great sound, right? Then A moves up to B. Or you can play that here. Alright, and then we get our G. So there's B diminished. Top note goes up to G. Then we get E augmented. So and again, like a lot of the time if I'm like playing chords for people, I won't do these, okay? But if I'm playing something that's a solo, right? Right? I might use that as kind of like a launching pad to get me into another idea. And again, that's what these are great for, is discovering sounds that may be usable for something else that you can play. So, all right, that's our E flat augmented. We're going to move that to C minor. So basically, the B moves up to C. All right? From here, we're moving to an A diminished. I'm going to move my C over here and hit my A there. You could also do this. Let's go with that, actually. And for now, we're going to move now E flat up to F. That gives us our F major chord. And now we can see we're F, C, A, right here. F, C, A. We're going to move that C up to a D. Now we have D minor, and you're going to then move the A up to B. Or you can even do harmonics on it. Right? So there's B diminished, and then G. Then we take our middle note, D, and we move that up to get our E flat augmented. And B moves up to C. We're on the third line, G, E flat, C, right down there. So we got C minor, then we get G moving up to A. We get bass note moving. We get A diminished. The middle note move. There's another one I love. Love that, right? So there's our F major chord, A, F, F, C. C is going to move up to D. Then we get our D minor, so A, F, D. Then A goes up to B, that gives us our B diminished. Then F goes to G. We get our G major chord, that's that same great voicing. Root, third, root, fifth. Then we get our D moves to E flat. And then there's our E flat augmented. Back around, repeat to the top to C minor, and then do it all over again if you want to do it in another octave and get another level out of this. But I'm going to keep it short and end that there for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, please do subscribe. Get every video of this series, and you will have a free rare book. What do you know? So that's it. I'm going to get out. I'm going to play my way out. See you next time.